Get our teeth stuck into the first 3 games of the Premier League season. By the way, Rory, I know international breaks in September are nothing new, but this one feels particularly tough to take, doesn't it? Given we've just had a Euros, we're only 3 games into a season. I don't know. This one hurts, Rory.
No, I agree with you. I think it's incredibly frustrating timing. It's incredibly unnecessary. We don't really gain anything from it. We lose the momentum. We lose the momentum massively from the Premier League. It feels like the Premier League is just hotting up, doesn't it? We're seeing it form some sort of, at least a resemblance to the way that it will look at the end of the season. There's some great storylines. Arsenal drop points for the first time, Liverpool on a roll, Manchester United all over the place, Manchester City doing exactly what they do. And now we have to put the brakes on. We screech to a halt, don't we? At the worst possible time. For what as well?
Wow.
And for what? That's the most annoying thing.
Not even qualifiers, are there? The Nations League games, but yeah. Look,
it's about as uninspiring. If you're going to stop, let's say that the Premier League had to stop for a sporting occasion, an England-related sporting occasion, it would always be inconvenient. It would always be less inspiring than the Premier League. But if it was something that we could get our teeth into, I don't know about you, but I have no intention of even watching. I really don't. I find the Nations League so pointless. I just don't care.
Not interested.
I really don't care. Whereas I would watch literally any Premier League game. Any Premier League game that should be being played this weekend, I would watch any of it.
Yeah. Well, Rory, we've already spoke about your beloved Chelsea at 4 o'clock, so we're not going to include Chelsea in this. I'm going to throw some teams at you, Rory, and quite simply, a very early take on where they are at this season. Let's start then, shall we, with Manchester United. You mentioned they're beaten by Liverpool on Sunday and beaten convincingly by Liverpool. Beat Fulham, lost to Brighton, lost to Liverpool. And we know we had a summer of, is Ten Hag going to stay? Is he going to go? It was pretty well documented. They looked around and spoke to different managers. They ended up saying no to all of them, and they gave Ten Hag that year extra onto his contract. 3 games in. Is there anything about what you've seen so far or their summer transfer business that makes you think this guy can turn it around and he'll still be in work at Man United come 2025?
No. To be frank and blunt and concise, no, not really. For what it's worth, I think that I am more sympathetic towards Erik Ten Hag than most people. So when we have this, I think it's important for me to lay my cards out early. I think that Ten Hag hasn't done as badly as everybody else thinks. I think that he's had fairly impressive seasons. I think winning silverware, he did, but he won silverware. And I will always, I think I'm in the minority here, but I will always prioritise silverware. I think any season with silverware has to be viewed through the prism of success.
Even when you're Manchester United and you finish 8th in the Premier League, that's down as a successful season. I completely appreciate.
But you know what?
I completely appreciate winning a trophy, but this is. It's like Gary Neville here. This is Manchester United.
Yeah, but
he's
had
big money. I know, but they've got the ambitions, don't they, of trying to get close back to where they are. And coming 8th in the table is obviously not that.
Let's play just a game here. Pretend they finished 5th and won the cup in the way that they did, beating City in the way that they did, stopping City, winning a double, in fact. If they finished 5th, they would have achieved exactly the same thing. So they would be in the Europa League.
I think if they came 5th and played the exact same football as last season in terms of being so open, so easy to play against, I still think they would have taken as much criticism. I think coming 8th is one thing, but Rory, over a 38-game Premier League season, I mean, goodness me, I almost think 8th sometimes flatters them because they were so bad, they were so easy to play against. And I think Jamie Carragher on 2 occasions did some really, really good bits from Monday Night Football about how open they were, and it was a rank season. And look, we all know cup runs. You can go on good cup runs. You can have a one-off great game, a little bit luck, the Coventry goal by a millimetre save them. But over a 38-game season to come 8th, there was a stat around February time, Rory, where only Burnley and Sheffield United had more shots on target than Manchester United. That's a team that is set up badly.
I do agree with everything, but this could actually be a flaw in me. We could be exposing a flaw in me rather than Ten Hag here. I find it very difficult to look beyond silverware. Yeah, I do. I find it very difficult. And you are right. It's been woeful. It has been woeful. So much has gone wrong. I think some of it can be explained by injuries. Like they have had a ludicrous injury.
That's
I don't really
fun.
like. 2 things I find quite boring to talk about are referees and injuries. But with Manchester United, it's extreme, isn't it? The injury crisis that Ten Hag had to put up with. So I do think that on some level he's done relatively well. But I equally think that this season had to start better. Because through the summer, how many Manchester United potential managers were there? How many How many managers were interviewed by Manchester United?
We think
considered
4.
4.
We think it was 4, yeah.
So Tuchel was definitely part of that.
Tuchel,
I think Pochettino was considered.
I think Thomas Frank was definitely one. And potentially Kieran McKenna, I think, yeah. I think there was 4.
So do you know what had to happen off the back of it? I think that I could have really argued strongly that in this debate that you and I are having, that you were wrong at the end of last season when they won silverware. Because what I would have said to you is, they'll start next season strong. They will use that cup win as a springboard to launch into the new season. Effectively, Erik ten Hag starts now. They've beaten Man City in that circumstance. That Manchester United end behind the goal went wild. They made history. Now their season will start. That's what I would have argued, and that's been proved already now to be incorrect, which effectively makes the cup win not insignificant, because that will live forever, but it
feels a long time ago now, doesn't it?
It feels a long time ago, and also what it didn't do, which is what I would have argued it was supposed to do, was redefine Manchester United. Yeah. This is it now. We have done what Manchester United do. You know, Manchester United as an institution, they are incredibly resilient. If you think about their history, it's all built on resilience, and they've gone into a cup final that they had no right to win, and they won it, doing something so impressive, limiting Pep Guardiola to only the Premier League with one of the best teams ever assembled, which is quite an achievement. But this season has shocked me. It really shocked me. And I think that it's now getting to the stage where 2 things could happen. There's a world where Erik ten Hag wins silverware at the end of this season. He wins another cup and they finish 8th and he's still in the job. Or very soon, Ruud van Nistelrooy is Manchester United manager.
I was going to say, Rory, I don't think he gets the end of the season to try and win silverware if their league form is half as bad as last season. I think stating the absolute bleeding obvious, he had to, and I mean had to, get off to a good start this season. I don't think come the next international break, if they win 1 and 3 and they're still 14th in the table come October time, I just think it's going to get so messy.
But the trouble is they've missed the boat.
But with Ruud van Nistelrooy, you mentioned that man's name there, it feels like they have got an option of someone who can come in and hold the fort for a little bit. I'm not saying it's ideal, Rory, but it's certainly an option, isn't it?
He's a manager in his own right as well. Exactly. I mean, his shadow kind of looms like a Grim Reaper a bit.
Well, as soon as he came in, people thought, okay, we know how this is going to go, then, don't we?
He's so loved.
He's a legend there, he's an icon.
Yeah. Like that Stretford end singing that Ruud van Nistelrooy tra-la-la-la-la thing, that's going to really loom over Erik ten Hag.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I don't know if that would be... even if we were to agree that Erik ten Hag has passed his sell-by date and isn't right, I don't know if throwing Ruud van Nistelrooy in when he's had no pre-season, he will have to take charge of a group of players who are kind of set up to be Ten Hag's players. The entire recruitment strategy has been built around Erik ten Hag's former employees. That, to me, doesn't even feel like the right time to give Van Nistelrooy the job.
I agree,
for Van Nistelrooy. You're not giving him the best opportunity.
No, I agree, but again, if it doesn't improve on last season, I think it's going to get to a point where it's surely going to be almost impossible to kind of be as bad, if you know what I mean. So I'm not saying it's ideal, but if they are anywhere near as bad as last season, Rory, I don't see how Ruud coming in on an interim basis could make it get any worse, if that makes sense. Certainly domestically in the Premier League.
Wait, how bad is Ten Hag? Like, if you were to rank...
I thought last season, Rory, they were absolutely appalling.
So if you were to rank, say, Manchester United managers... If you were to rank all of the Manchester United managers post-Fergie, do you have Ten Hag? I know Rangnick wasn't.
He was super short, wasn't he?
Yeah, he wasn't a permanent manager. But if we put him into this,
really
he has to be worse.
Yeah,
like because of the success from Ten Hag, the quantifiable success, the quantifiable success. It's like Mourinho's probably the best. Van
came
Gaal
second, didn't he? Though, but I know he came a long way off Man City.
Came second.
But yeah. Van Gaal won a
European trophy. Like Mourinho, went to.
I say with Moyes, as bad as they were in that first season, worse. I'm not being funny, but you could argue that if Ten Hag's into his 3rd season, you could argue they should have probably given Moyes a bit more time and didn't give Moyes anywhere near as much money as what they've given Ten Hag over the past couple of seasons.
A key point.
And they've given him a lot of power as well. All his mates from Ajax are coming in.
Yeah.
And the irony on Sunday, one of the lads from Ajax, Ryan Gravenberch, was the only good Ajax player on the pitch, and he was playing for Liverpool.
Yeah, I know. It's funny that, isn't it? It's funny when you have that.
It's a bit ironic,
you're like,
wasn't
hang on a minute. Why haven't we signed him?
They signed 44 players from Ajax in 3 years, but not that lad
one.
who's
the
really
one who's
good.
running the game.
Rory, we could do probably a whole hour on Man United, but I want to throw some other teams your way if we can. I want to go to the bottom of the table, or near the bottom. In fact, no, the absolute bottom. Everton, 3 games, 3 defeats. They conceded 10 goals. Sean Dyche, where are you at with... can I ask you a question?
I can't believe it.
Is Sean Dyche to blame for where Everton are at right now? Or is it more of a case of Everton Football Club have just been run so badly from top to bottom over the past 6-7 years in terms of bad recruitment, bad managerial appointments, the kind of Sean Dyche just keeping them up last season and even them starting badly. That's kind of where Everton should be at this season.
I think it's all of the above. Everything that you said there is correct. Where I think it's very difficult to argue that Sean Dyche should be insulated from criticism is, when a club is run badly, when everything around the club is crumbling, the ceiling is falling down, nothing is going right in the way that the club is run. I detest the way Chelsea are run. I think that Everton are arguably the most poorly run club in the country.
The amount of money they've spent under Mashiri, it's astonishing.
It's like £500 million,
it's incredible.
But the performance, say against Brighton, there's no point. We don't need to talk about Bill Kenwright or Mashiri or anyone like that. We can analyse the players that were on the pitch, the tactics that those players were given, the inspiration that those players were given, and the just the will to win, the lack of a will to win. Brighton wanted it more. Brighton were more keen, more hungry, more inventive. Danny Welbeck leading the line to a ridiculously high standard. Yes, Everton are poorly run and have been for decades now, and it's a shame. But I also think that when it comes down to just analysing the 90 minutes, these players and Sean Dyche should be held accountable.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go from the blue half of Merseyside to the red half of Merseyside.
Can I ask you a question? Do you think they go down, Everton?
No. I think they come 17th. I think Wolves come 16th. I think the three teams that went up last season go straight back down.
Imagine
in their new stadium. I know. I was thinking the exact same thing. I just don't think they're as bad as Ipswich, Southampton and Leicester. I really don't.
So you think they're just relying on other teams?
Yeah, a little bit. It's kind of been like that the last couple of seasons with them, hasn't it, really?
Yeah, it feels like an unsustainable approach.
It probably is. And it will be unless they sort themselves out.
Do you know what could happen? Somebody pulls it out the bag. Ipswich go on a run. They do what Sheffield United did, and suddenly Everton are then left as one of the teams that go down. I don't know. It would be so in keeping with Everton to make a pig's ear of it just before they move.
I also think that, I don't know why I think this, but I have a feeling that David Moyes could be the Everton manager before the end of the season. I think if we're in the turn of the new year and they're in another relegation battle, they might make a change. And I just think there's something about David Moyes going back to Everton that I think could make sense for all parties.
Yeah.
And I just feel like, it will be a little bit of, we're hoping the three teams below us, which I think will be the three teams that have come up, are going to be worse than them. And I kind of think when push comes to shove and we get right to the back end of the season, that will be the case.
Yeah.
Do you agree? I don't know. I can't see it right now.
I never thought they'd go down. I never thought it was even a possibility. But then it's not even the amount of points that they have now. It doesn't matter. They can certainly accrue enough points to survive. It's the performances.
Yeah.
They're the worst team in the country.
Yeah, and like Sean Dyche's teams traditionally have always been quite hard to break down. Like this Everton team are so easy to break down. They've got no goals in that team. I mean, Calvert-Lewin, God bless him, I know he's had injuries. He looks finished, doesn't he? The boy better off the bench isn't much better. And you just think, where are the goals going to come from? And they signed your boy, haven't they? They announced that today, by the way. Armando Broja. They confirmed that today.
I thought to Ipswich.
I know. It was Everton. I'm almost certain.
Right. Well, there we go. I mean, he's a decent enough player, but I don't think he's a player to keep them up. The other thing is, the reason why Everton did so well last year and the reason why Dyche teams over the years have done well is because they have the ability of keeping clean sheets.
Yeah.
Like not conceding
this
goals.
Everton team.
They're not going to, like, Armando Broja isn't going to score 19 Premier League goals.
It is Everton, by the way, to confirm he's got
he's not going to score 19 Premier League goals. Like, that's
but he needs to score 10 for them or 9 for them.
What actually needs to
happen
happen is they need to have the most miserly defence in the league, apart from like the top three.
Yeah.
And they are a million miles away from that at the moment.
Liverpool, Rory. Again, I know we're doing this conversation, we're so early on into the season, but 3 games, 3 wins, 2.5 good performances by the first 45 against Ipswich. Surprised at how just kind of calm and relaxed everything seems around Liverpool at the moment.
I'm not surprised that they're doing well. I'm surprised that they're doing so well. I'm surprised that there hasn't been any sort of teething period with the new owner, new manager, and passing the baton on from a Jurgen Klopp team and getting these players to play a completely different style. Like, it's not completely different, but it's markedly different. There's a very different tempo to the way they play.
100%. Much more patient.
It was 100 miles an hour with Klopp, wasn't it? It was just a blitzkrieg approach, just attack, and ultimately catch teams off guard because you were so on the front foot. This isn't that. This is more patient. It's more delicate. It's quite interesting. And I think that there is... Like, do you know, I didn't think this would happen. It's really caught me by surprise. But we're not there yet. But, another bad result for Arsenal, another bad performance from Arsenal, if maybe Tottenham were to beat us, something like that. I think you can then ask the question, is it a 3-horse race? Or even, are Liverpool the title challenger? Are we going back to a few years ago? Are Liverpool the actual challenger to Man City's throne? If they are, I feel like Manchester City are going to win the league at a canter. Yeah. Because I think that Liverpool are very good. And I think they'll have a very good season. But I don't think they will have it in them to... Man City are going to hit somewhere between 95 and 105 points on
as they always
something
do.
Like that.
Yeah.
Which is a crazy amount. Do you know what's amazing there? I've just almost heard it out loud. I said that 95 to 105 in that... And you went, yep.
Oh, no, that's normal
crazy.
Now. That's standard, yeah.
Isn't that ridiculous?
There was a Liverpool team on the clock that had 97 points to do in the league. That almost... It feels like if you get above 95 points, it should be shared, shouldn't it? It's like, that's just brutal, isn't it? Yeah. 97 points, and you go...
Yeah.
I think Liverpool lost like a game in like that. And it's like, oh, yeah, by the way, you're not winning the Premier League this season. Okay, cool. We'll go again next season, shall we? It's almost not fair, is it? But no, that is the standards they've set now, Rory.
And I don't think Liverpool can do that. I don't think this Liverpool team can do that. If Man City find the rhythm that they're looking like they're going to find... I don't think anybody's going to come close.
So why are Man City looking so good so early on in the season?
Why?
It normally takes them till January to look really good, right? I don't like this.
I know. They're
supposed to be really bad and then get really good, but they win 25 games in a row.
Do you know what they've done, though? They've been very clever. At one point, it looked like Man City let too many experienced pros leave. Yeah.
One of them's come back.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
It's a very clever move though, because they made money on it as well. And
for all the talk, by the way, of the money they spend and whatnot, one thing they're really good at is setting players with big money. Same with Liverpool as well.
Yeah.
I mean, Carvalho and Van den Berg, who were squad players at best, they sold the two of them to Brentford for £52 million.
It's a very important strategy. You know, when we talk about transfer windows, who won the window? Everybody has a propensity to immediately say, we signed X, therefore we won the window. Nobody really looks at the revolving door quality of the window. It's important. Who have you got rid of? It's where Chelsea have made a massive error. Right. We basically didn't... too many first-team players. Too many... Making sure that you sell players at the right time for the right amount of money, keeping the squad fresh, but also keeping the continuity. It's a very delicate balancing act. And you are right. Liverpool are very good at it.
We've only got, 9 days to go until the Premier League is back.
On AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.